We are discussing about the last mantra in that Annaprasha Samskara. I have dictated it. Annapati Annasya no Dehi Anamivasya Shushminaha. One line. Dataram Tarisha Urjam no Dehi Dvipade Chatushpade. Double line. Yajurveda 11.83. So I dictated this. Now I have to understand what this mantra says. This is a prayer. So I have always told that prayer is not just asking for something. We have to do our part. We have to play our role. Then only it will be successful. Otherwise the prayer will not be answered. This I have told very clearly. So here the first thing what we have got here is we are wishing for food. We are asking for food for Dvipade Chatushpade. Last at the end of the month I said. Dvipade Chatushpade. Dvipade is bipeds. That is we human beings. And Chatushpade, quadrupeds, all other creatures. We are praying for food for human beings and all other creatures. Now here a subject which we have been discussing, maybe it's worth repeating once again. We have to know it. When we are asking food for not only human beings but also all creatures, to butcher an animal, make itself as food is ridiculous. So to butcher an animal and make it our food is ridiculous because we are wishing food for not only us but also for all other creatures. So on the face of it, it's very clear that the food what we have to eat is perfectly vegetarian and not non-vegetarian. ಐದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡು ಅಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸೇತಿ 100 ಹಿತ ನೋಡು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಬಂಡ I'll give you some examples how this aspect has been stressed. Atharva 8.10.12. Atharva 8.1012. Krishincha sasyancha manushya upajivanti. Krishincha sasyancha manushya upajivanti. Krishincha sasyancha manushya upajivanti. This is very clearly. Manushya means we human beings. We human beings, we have to live on. We have to live on Krishi and Sasya. Krishi is farming, agriculture. Sasya is vegetation. So our life depends on Krishi and Sasya. Atharva 8.10.12. It's very clear. It's very clear and explicit. It's not we have to guess what they have said. It's not that we have to interpret what they have said. It's very clearly, explicitly told that the food for human beings is farming, the product of farming and vegetations. I'm trying to find out another one. Another one. Yajurveda 1.1. Yajurveda 1.1. Yajamanasya pashun pahi. Yajamanasya pashun pahi. Yajamanasya pashun pahi. Let the animals of the Yajamana. Yajamana is one who performs yajna. Yajamana is one who performs yajna. And of course, yajna is compulsory for everyone to perform. So let one who performs yajna, and I told you yajna is not just saying swaha swaha. Anything done in the best way is called yajna. So it's a must for everyone. Pashun pahi. Let his animals be protected. Rearing animals is not for food. Rearing animals is for other uses. So I'll just give one example. Say dairy farming has become a very big industry throughout the world. Now, the Vedic thought is the cows are to be reared for its dung and urine because they are very good inputs in farming. And the primary right on the milk of the cow is for the calf. So whatever it drinks, you have to leave it. And finally, if something is left, okay, we can take it. Because it's medicinal in its property. Medicinal. So, the basic food of human beings, it is the product of farming and this one, and let the animals of that Yajamana, Yajna Karta, that is one who performs Yajna, who does all things in the best way possible, let that be protected. Yajurveda 1.1. One second, I am trying to find out another mantra which is very clear. Once again, explicit. Just a minute. Shunam krishatu langalam. Shunam krishatu langalam. Shunam krishatu langalam. This is from Atharva 3.17.6. 3.17.6. Shunam krishatu langalam. Let the plow be fast, active, functional. Plow, of course, is a symbol of our farming and agriculture. So let the plow be active means that farming be taken place and we shall have the products of the farming as our food. Why I am giving all these details is the controversy and discussion between vegetarians and non-vegetarians has been a long one. Every day it is done. And we have not arrived at final conclusion. But if you take Veda as the parameter, Veda as the guiding scale, yes, it will be concluded finally in the right way. So for that sake, whatever is said in the Vedas, that I am trying to explain more and more. I got many other things to tell you. ಐತೆಯಮ್ಮ ವೈದಕ್ತಿ ಚಿನ್ಪಥ
ಯಾಕಿನ್ನು ಬಂದಿಲ್ವಾ ಅವರು?
ಆಗ್ತಾ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅಕ್ಷೈರ್ಮಾ ದಿವ್ಯ ಕೃಷಿಮಿತ್ ಕೃಷಸ್ವ ಅಂದರ್ ಒನ್ ಕೃಷಿಮಿತ್ ಕೃಷಸ್ವ ಕೃಷಿಮಿತ್ ಕೃಷಸ್ವ ಋಗ್ವೇದ 10.34.13 10.34.13 ಋಗ್ವೇದ let you do agriculture and agriculture alone. Emphasis is there. It, krishim, it, krishaswa. Do the farming and practice agriculture only. Rigveda 10:34.13. This has got two dimensions. One dimension is physically do agriculture and live on it. Another one is work and earn. Krishi also means to work. Apart from agriculture, it also got that meaning. So don't be lazy and wait for someone to feed you. Don't be a pest. Don't be a pest on anyone. Earn, work and lead your life. So both meanings are there. We are interested in the first one, that is agriculture, do the agriculture, that is your main thing. Upasarpa. There are so many quotations. I'm giving what best I can give. Upasarpa, Mataram, Bhumi Metam, Upasarpa Mataram, Bhumi Metam. Be closer to the land. Be closer to the land, which is like your mother. Mataram Bhumim Etam. Upasarpa Mataram Bhumi Metam. Rigveda 10.18.10. 10.18.10. So it clearly guides us to be as close to the land, as close to the earth as possible. Bhumi. Because that is the place where you live, that's the place which feeds you, like a mother. So Bhumi has been equated to the mother, which nourishes, feeds, protects the child. So all these things is done by the earth for you. When I say earth for you, it's not only you and me, it's the whole clan of human beings. All human beings, we ultimately, finally depend on earth and its products only. Vegetarians is very clear. Non-vegetarians, they eat animals which eat other animals, and those animals in turn eat vegetarian food. So ultimately, everybody depends on the earth, everybody depends on the land. It's like your mother. But instead of in the course, butchering other animals, take it straight. Take it straight. Then I was telling why we rear animals. It's very clear. Upahuta, iha, upahuta, iha, gava. Upahuta, iha gava. Upahuta, ajavayaha. Upahuta, ajavayaha. Yajurveda 3.43. Let cow, sheep, etc., etc. be so close that they can listen your call. So close so that they can listen your call. If you call them, they should be ready. And they are all partners in your agriculture. It's not for food. It's not for food, but they are all partners in our agriculture. And overall, we call them as domestic animals. Domestic animals. So these domestic animals, they help us in our agriculture in different ways. So they have to be available around us, and when we call them, they should be at our beck and call. We rear them, we protect them, not eat them, I repeat, not eat them, and take them as our partners in agriculture, and finally we share whatever we have produced with them also. Sarvam te annam avisham krunomi. Sarvam te annam avisham krunomi. I'll see that the food what you eat is without poison, is without toxins.
Motor switch off ಮಾಡ್ಸಿದ್ರಾ?
ಅವಳೆ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ನಾ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. Sarvam te annam avisham krunomi. I will make the food what you eat free from poisons and toxins. Atharva 8:2-10. So here we have to understand a little bit. A person is calm and peaceful. Imagine their chemistry, physical chemistry in their body and mind. It will be calm and cool and pleasant, balanced. Yes. Imagine a person who is in anxiety and fear. Another person. The person who is in anxiety and fear, definitely the whole system will be disturbed. Oversweating will be there, palpitation will be there, tension and anxiety will be there. And a lot of other problems also could be there. And this is the result of, I repeat, this is the result of the toxins and poisonous effect in the body. The poisonous effect and toxins in them is wholly due to fear and anxiety. That's why we find so many physical changes in them. Now, same thing applies to an animal which is about to be butchered, which is about to be sent to guillotine. Same thing happens. It will not happily go and give its head for butchering. They try their level best to escape, but forcefully they are sent into the guillotine and butchered. An animal which is butchered will have all toxins in its body because of the tension, fear, anxiety of dying or being butchered. So what will happen? The food becomes contaminated. The food becomes poisonous, toxic. Now these toxins and poisons, the present day laboratory and present day chemical processes have failed to identify. They are able to weigh how much meat they have got. They are able to calculate how red it is, how red it is not, how fresh it is, how fresh it is not. That's okay. But they are not able to find the subtle changes in the chemicals, the chemistry of the animal, which is a lot of tension and anxiety because it's about to die. So these toxins, due to the stress and anxiety, will make the whole meat poisonous and toxic. When I say poisonous, it doesn't mean that once they eat the meat, they will die. It's not so much. So the softer term for poison we call it as toxin. Toxins will get accumulated in those who eat this meat continuously. And that's not the idea of human life. That's not the idea of providing food by God. He says very clearly, Annam avisham krunomi, whatever food you eat, have to be free from toxins. Then, ಇನ್ನೊಂದಮ್ಮ ಯಾವುದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಧೃತೆ ದೃಂಗಮ. ಯಜುರ್ವೇದನೋ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಋಗ್ವೇದನೋ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮಾಧ್ವೀರ್ಗಾವೋ ಭವಂತು ನಃ. ಮಾಧ್ವೀರ್ಗಾವೋ ಭವಂತು ನಃ. ಯಜುರ್ವೇದ 13.29. ಸಿಗ್ತೇನಮ್ಮ? ಮಿತ್ರಸ್ಯಮ ಚಕ್ಷುಷ. ಬಂದೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ? ಮಾಧ್ವೀರ್ಗಾವೋ ಭವಂತು ನಃ. Gava is cow and is a representative of all domestic animals. They are not so. ಆನಂದ್ ಸರ್ ಯಾರ್ದೋ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆಡಿಯೋ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಆನಂದ್ ಸರ್? So Gavaha is representative of all animals, mainly domestic animals. We call it as Upalakshana. Upalakshana means the whole group is represented by one name. So we use Aksha, Pratyaksha we call it. Pratyaksha, when I say Aksha, the eyes, it's not only eyes, it's a representative of all the Pancha Indriyas. It's representative. This is called as Upalakshana. So here, Gavaha, that's all animals, B, Naha for us, Madhvihi bhavantu. Madhvihi means pleasing, friendly. Pleasing, friendly, and let the relationship be happy. All those things come under that Madhu. Madhu, honey. Let the relationship be like we enjoy honey. This is Yajurveda 13.29. 13.29. Maybe I have already just some dozen quotations. Yes? Maybe 1 dozen quotations. There are many. Now I'll end up with last two. The last but one is Atharva 4.36.7. 4.36.7 Atharva. It's the last but one quotation. There are many. I want to limit it. This says, Pishachaha tasman nashyanti. Pishachaha tasman nashyanti. Yamaham gramamavishe. Yamaham gramamavishe. Pishachaha tasman nashyanti. Yamaham gramamavishe. Atharva 4.36.7. Grama is any habitat. Village is the colloquial meaning. Grama total means where we come together and live. That's a habitation. So any habitation where I live, any habitation which I enter, in that habitation, Pishachaha nashyanti. Pishachaha nashyanti. The colloquial meaning of the word Pishacha is ghost-like or devil or something we think. But the actual meaning of Pishacha is non-vegetarian. Pisha avayave, that's the root of it. Pisha avayave. Avayava is the part of the body. Avayava. Pisha avayave. Pisham atti. Atti means one who eats the parts of the body of an animal is Pishacha. That's exactly the meaning for non-vegetarian. Pishacha doesn't mean an unearthly concoction. It's not that. It means very clearly a non-vegetarian person. So any habitation where I live in, any habitation which I enter, Pishachaha nashyanti. There will be no non-vegetarians. So indirectly it is giving on our shoulders a responsibility to set non-vegetarian ends. Non-vegetarianism should end. Because that's not the natural food for human beings. So, Pishachaha tasman nashyanti yamaham grama mavishe. Any habitat where I live in my surroundings, there will be no meat eaters, there will be no non-vegetarians. Now this appears ideal today because the percentage of non-vegetarians is very much in the world, not in one country. In the world itself, it is too high. So to make them understand this and to convert them to humanism is a tough job. Okay, fine. But still it has to be done. Only when everyone becomes vegetarians, they will get that compassion in their hearts and love other creatures. Only then we will have world peace. When our meat eaters, all said and done, we are cruel. We don't identify the right of any other animal to live. We don't identify its right to live. And that non-identifying the right to live of any other creature extends to even human beings. And we never feel bad to kill any other person. This whole world is chaotic. That's what it is today. So love for other creatures, compassion is very much necessary for human society at least. So to stress upon this point only, that mantra says, Annapate Annasya no, at the end it says, Dvipade Chatushpade. Not only that, we pray for its food. We pray that no animal, no creature, human being or other than human beings, go to bed without food. want everyone to have food. Food is a basic need for all creatures, including human beings. So basic need should be satisfied to all. This is what it says. It is the last but one mantra. That is from Atharva. And it says 4.36.7. The habitat where I live, I'll see that it is free from inhuman and cruel people. They are so because of their food habits, and they are called as pishacha. Pishachaha, plural. You see that? They are converted into vegetarians, and I'll try to instill in them the aspects of love, the aspects of compassion and other things. It's the duty of every human being. Now the last one, which makes all things very clear. Dhrute drimhama, mitrasya ma chakshusha, sarvani bhutani samikshantam. Dhrute drimhama, mitrasya ma chakshusha, sarvani bhutani samikshye. Mitrasyaham chakshusha, sarvani bhutani samikshye. Dhrute dringhama sarvani bhutani samikshantam. Mitrasyaham chakshusha sarvani bhutani samikshe. One line. Mitrasya chakshusha samikshamahe. Two lines. Mitrasya chakshusha samikshamahe. Two lines. Yajurveda. Yajurveda 36.19. Yajurveda 36.18. Sorry, 36.18. Now this is at the top of all the quotations what I have given. It says, "Oh God, Dhrute Drimhama." That is, Dhrute is one who drives us all. He is the motivating force of all of us. That is Satyananda. Drimhama, that is motivate us to progress. To progress. So what is needed for progress? That's given here clearly. Mitrasya ma chakshusha sarvani bhutani samikshantam. Let all creatures, let all animals, let all living beings look at us in a friendly way. In a friendly way. At some places, speaking as domestic animals, no, not just domestic animals, all. Let all animals be friendly with me. Look at me with a friendly look. Not only that, mitrasya aham, let me also, I will also, mitrasya chakshusha samikshya, sarvani bhutani. No exception, repeat, no exception. All creatures have to look with a friendly look. Have to see at them in a friendly, compassionate way. We'll do it. Mitrasya aham chakshusha, sarvani bhutani samikshya. Mitrasya chakshusha samikshamahe. We shall look at each other in a very friendly way. We shall live friendly. Including carnivorous animals, lions, tigers, bear, whatever you say, sarvani bhutani, no exception. We shall be friendly with every creature around. And it's the acme of non-violence, acme of compassion, the highest level of compassion and love towards other creatures. This is what is propounded by the Vedas. They never incite violence. They never support violence. They never support butchery. It speaks about universal love. It's very clear in this Yajurveda mantra. 19.38. Sarenamma? 19.38.
36.18.
Enna?
36.18.
36.18, sorry. 36.18. There are many such mantras. I have given as a sample. I have given as a, a section of it I have given. That itself runs to some more than 10 quotations. There are many. There are 20,000 and odd mantras putting all the four Vedas together, and you can get hundreds of such quotations. So the Vedic principle is love. The Vedic principle is compassion. The Vedic principle is coexistence. It's very clear. It's very clear. Unless this principle gets into our life, we cannot expect peace in the world. Now here, this is one point of it. Other point also we have discussed. I would like to repeat it again. That's about the comparison between vegetarian and non-vegetarian food and how this human structure is manufactured. Now, so far I have been telling about Veda, I have been telling about humanity and other things. Now I leave out all things. I just speak very, very objectively in a scientific way now. Very, very objectively in a scientific way. Say take two animals. Let not human being come now. We'll keep the human being away and we'll just compare one vegetarian animal with another non-vegetarian animal. I'm not speaking of any religion, any Veda, nothing. Just practically, objectively, we'll take two animals. One is a vegetarian animal, one is a non-vegetarian animal. And try to understand the differences between the two. Okay, the first one. The first one is the beginning of digestion. The beginning of digestion. The beginning of digestion starts from the mouth in a vegetarian animal and the stomach in a non-vegetarian animal. This can be verified scientifically, physically. No question of emotions, no question of feelings, nothing. Practical, objective. Verifiable. The digestion in a vegetarian animal starts from the mouth and from the stomach in non-vegetarian animals. Number one. Number two. The teeth and nails of a vegetarian animal is soft, whereas it's so hard in case of a non-vegetarian animal. If it has to tear and eat the animal, and it's not possible with soft teeth and nails. But such a need is not there for a vegetarian animal. Just a maximum, maybe have to crush a nut, that's a maximum. So its teeth and nails are quite soft compared to a non-vegetarian animal. Number two. Number three, the movement of the jaws. The movement of the jaws. For a vegetarian animal, it has to munch it. It has to munch it. So the movement of the jaws is up and down as well as sideways. Up and down, I'm showing it. Up and down and sideways. It has to grind. It has to grind the food what it has taken. Whereas in case of a non-vegetarian animal, there's no digestion in the stage of mouth. It is straight going to stomach. So it's enough for it to have this movement, pierce it, then cut it down and swallow. So it doesn't have movement sideways. The jaws of a non-vegetarian animal doesn't have a sideways movement. It's only this one, to grasp and to tear it and swallow it. So it got a sideways movement, the grip will not be strong. So for the grip to be strong, it has to be only this way. No sideways movement. Then, number 4. This is only a part of the digestion process I'm speaking of. In the digestion process, hydrochloric acid is there, both in vegetarian and non-vegetarian animals. Hydrochloric acid is one of the participants in the digestion process. Now this hydrochloric acid, chemically we call it HCl, capital H, capital C, small l. Hydrochloric acid is weak, diluted in case of a vegetarian animal. Weak and diluted hydrochloric acid is produced in the body of a vegetarian animal. But in the body of a non-vegetarian animal, the same hydrochloric acid is concentrated and very strong and concentrated. Now why? Why? Should just try to understand it. The food what is eaten by vegetarian animal is that fruits, maybe some leaves, only such things. So the requirement of the hydrochloric acid, even if it's diluted, is fine. It gets digested. But in case of an animal, that is a non-vegetarian animal, along with the meat, a part of the skin also gets into it. A part of the hairs on the body of the the prey also gets in. And the bones, pieces of bones also get into its stomach. Bones, skin, hairs. So the non-vegetarian animal has to digest all those things along with meat. So naturally, it needs a hydrochloric acid which is stronger and concentrated, because it digests even the bones, the pieces of bones. When you compare it with the human being, when a small strand of hair, suppose it gets into my food, it comes out as it is. Even that small strand of hair I cannot digest, because the hydrochloric acid is so weak and diluted. But it is so strong in a non-vegetarian animal, it will digest not only hairs, it also digests the skin, it will also digest even the pieces of bones. Next. The length of the intestine. The length of the intestine. The length of the intestine. The length of the intestine in case of vegetarian animal is 5 to 6 times the length of the body of the vegetarian animal. 5 to 6 times. Say if the animal, a vegetarian animal, is by length maybe some say 8 feet. So the length of the intestine will be 40 to 48 feet. This is sign what I got in a vegetarian animal. If it is a non-vegetarian animal, it will be 1.5 to 2 times the length of the body of the non-vegetarian animal. 1.5 to 2, maybe 2.5. Okay, 1.5 to 2.5. The logic behind it is very clear. The process involved to digest a vegetarian food and finally convert into energy, the steps are many. Steps are many. So it needs a longer intestine, small and large, both put together. Whereas in case of a non-vegetarian animal, what it is eating is meat, which is already half the process. Because whatever food we digest, it should be converted into meat and other things in our body, muscles and other things. So it has been done to an extent. So the process involved, the digestive process involved in non-vegetarian animal is comparatively less. So they got a lesser intestine, intestine which is not so long, just 1.5 to 2.5 times. These are all verifiable. These are verifiable, not to be believed. So like this, we have got many things. I just given some representative things. We got some 20 to 25 differences like this. So this make a vegetarian animal clearly distinct from a non-vegetarian animal. Now, let us bring in the human being. Let us bring in the human being and see what it is. So the first one what I told, the digestion starts from the mouth, digestion starts from the stomach. Very clearly, it is known that the digestion in case of a human being, it starts with the mouth with the mixing of saliva. So he belongs clearly to, on this point, to the vegetarian group. Then I'm speaking about the hardness of nails and teeth. So compared to a carnivorous animal, the nail and teeth of a human being is quite soft. Of course, with great effort, we can split open a jackfruit. That's the best capacity what we have got. And definitely, we cannot hunt an animal and tear it open with our teeth and tongues. It's not possible at all, impossible. So we belong to the vegetarian group. And I'm speaking of this hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid, that's the third point. Yes? Third one, what was it?
Chewing.
Chewing. So the chewing and munching, that is the movement of the jaws, up and down and sideways. It can be verified anytime. Yes, sideways movement is there for us. Because we have to chew it well, grind it well. And this grip, up and down, that grip, though we have got canines, one type of the tooth, which does it, they are not so strong as in case of a carnivorous animal. It's visible, it's very, you look at a carnivorous animal, the canines are very much pronounced, very much visible, and that is its force. Once it grips, yes, you cannot escape the grip. This you can see very clearly in case of carnivorous animals, and even these crocodiles, they keep their mouth open most of the time. You can see the jaws. And they are bent inside, that's also there. That's once they have the grip, the animal cannot come out. Even if it comes out, because the bend of the teeth inwards, they tear open the whole animal. That's the nature what we observe. But the teeth, though we have got canines, it is sufficient enough to bite an apple, maybe a banana, or maybe pear, something like that. It cannot go beyond that. So we as human beings, we belong to this group, vegetarian. Then hydrochloric acid. I told very clearly, even a strand of hair we cannot digest. It comes out with our fecal material. And last one, the length of the intestines. Verifiable. You go to any medical college, they will have that anatomy section. So dead bodies will be there for dissection knowing. You can ask them to show how long is the intestine, small and large. You will clearly observe that is 5 to 6 times the length of the body. Visible, verifiable. So all these 5 points, whatever I have given, it all clearly proves that a human being belongs to the vegetarian group. I got many more arguments. It says, okay, he depends on vegetarian, but he is omnivorous. That's another argument. Omnivorous. He can live on vegetarian food and also on meat. We have got many animals which are omnivorous, which eat both types. They live on vegetation, also they live on the flesh of other animals. Human being is also like that. What is wrong with that? So this question has to be answered effectively, reasonably, logically, rationally. Another question is there. Okay, you are speaking of animals. Even plants do have life. speaking about this meat eating from the point of view of compassion, from the point of mercy, from the point of view of non-violence, that is fine. But even plants do have life. So you are recommending vegetations, you are recommending eating of these plants and fruits, they do have life. And how do you support it? These are two major questions against this vegetarianism. Of course, these two questions normally appear for us very tough to answer. Very tough to answer. So we shall try to find an answer for these two questions in the coming class. And with that, we will be completing that Dvipade Chatushpade part. Dvipade Chatushpade. We wish for the food and peace living of all bipeds and quadrupeds, all creatures in general. And we are never butchering any animal for our food. So it's a big discussion on vegetarianism and non-vegetarianism. Think over. The other two questions are pending. That is, he eats meat also, he eats vegetation also. It's not that he's a vegetarian animal, he's a mixed animal. That is, animal which eats both food. Mixed food. That's one. Why not it be so? Another one is, plants do have life. And plants do have life. And you are recommending vegetarianism. So something is wrong. So these two questions also are there. Maybe other minor questions are there. You will not be able to get all vitamins, all proteins and other things with vegetarian food. So you need some other, maybe seafood or maybe animal food, meat, red meat, so many things. For your existence, you need them. That's a minor question. Okay, let it be there. So some of these questions are asked by those who are non-vegetarians and you want to support non-vegetarianism. Let us see how it works. Let's discuss about them in the next class. With that, we will be completing Dvipade, Chatushpade, then we'll go to other parts. Okay, thank you. Think over, and I'm making it very clear that it's not that I'm forcing these thoughts on you. I'm not imposing them on you. Think over, it's okay, fine, we take it. If it's true, we take it. If it's not true, let us try to find the and understand the counter arguments. We'll understand it. Absolutely, there's no problem. Okay, thank you. Yes, please.
Your question.
Yeah.
Please, welcome.
So we say like Vedas are Apaurishayani, right?
Veda?
Vedas are Apaurishayani.
One second, help. Once again, please. Vedas?
They say, we say Vedas are Apaurishayani. Okay. So, like, who is the one who gave Vedas to humans? Like, which race? Like, they say some superior race, maybe Devatas who are superior to humans.
No, don't have such concepts in Vedas. It's all Puranic. It's very clearly it says, God created this universe. Satchidananda, who is formless, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. So he created this universe. So this universe is a complex structure where it is all linked by reason and result, cause and effect, karana, karya. Without that, you cannot understand this world at all. Even at the micro level, even at the macro level, this is a complex structure of karana, karya. This is very clearly explained in Nasadiya Sukta of Rigveda. How this universe exists, because a system. And what is the essence of this system? That is karana, karya, sambandha. That's the basic thing. Now, when the system has been established, rishis have visualized them and understood them. That's how it has been revealed. Rishis. So, in that sense, even Newton is a rishi because he discovered gravitation law. Einstein is also a rishi because he found the relation between energy and matter. It's not that the relationship between energy and matter was created by Einstein. No, he did not create it. It was there, he discovered, he invented it. Gravitational force was there even before Newton. It exists even after the death of Newton. But he identified it, and he identified the law, and he explained it. So all such people, we call them as Rishi. And whatever Rishi I am speaking of any mantra here, it is that they have seen the truth, they have realized the truth, they have visualized the truth, and have explained. They have never created the system. So even if we are alert enough, we are clear enough, with a clean heart and clean mind, we can visualize so many such truths. We can also become Rishis. Rishikas, we can become. The system is already in place. And all those revelations explained in a very, very obvious way, in a very clear way, that is the Veda mantras. The words and sentences is not the Veda mantra. The content of it, the essence of it, the core of it, that is Veda. That is created by God, very clear.
So does it fit into Apaurishayani because it is written by humans? I mean, they say even Vedas, even Puranas, Upanishads, they are also
Apaurishaya. One is not Apaurishaya. It is Paurushaya.
As Vedas are written by rishis, like who visualized it.
Discovered. We use the word discovered. Drashtara, the one who has seen. That's how we define rishis. Rishis have not created any of them. They have observed and made a note of it. That note is Veda. They have seen and visualized and have realized and have made a note of it. And the notes is so good that is full of so many protective systems, and it's wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is not out of human brain. Intuition, you may call it. I just pronounced the truth. And it's in such a language which is self-protective. So we call it revelation of God. The rishis don't claim that it's me who has made a note of it. He says it's a revelation of God, and this I am able to visualize and just made a note of it.
And also they say like there are so many Vedas which are got lost and only we have got only 4 Vedas now. No. Is that false? Okay.
I'll tell you, it's because of this. Some people, they want to say their own things. And for claiming authenticity for that, authority for that, they say this is part of the Veda. There are many religions who proclaim this and say that Anantavai Vedaha, that is the Vedas were infinite. So some are revealed. Many other things, our teacher, our religious leader has been able to visualize, and this is what it is. They quote from that. But unfortunately, what they quote from the Veda of their teacher, of their religious head, is contradictory to what has been revealed in Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharvaveda. That's the problem. They have created a chaos.
So, 4 Vedas, that's the final thing, right?
Even if you are able to visualize anything new, it should be in tune with that 4, no problem. It's in tune with that 4, there's no problem. Because Vedas by themselves, what has been revealed, are without any contradiction.
Yeah.
If there is a contradiction, you have got a big question mark on that. And in Vedas itself, it's very clear, it is 4 only. Vedas itself are made clear. Yasmad rucho apatakshan, yajur yasmad apakashan, samani yasya lomani, atharu angiraso mukham. Rucha is Rigveda, Yaju is very clear, Sama is very clear, Athara is very clear. They have made it 4. And that's necessary and enough for a human life. Rigveda emphasizes on jnana. Then Yajurveda emphasizes on application of it, practice of it. Samaveda is devotion oriented. And Atharva is very much practical and science oriented. I think for human life, this is enough. Jnana, karma, upasana, vijnana. That's it. So, with all this background, we can say that it is finite 1, 2, 3, 4. Any revelation beyond that has to be in tune with it and cannot contradict it. Because whatever is said in these 4 Vedas, it applies for all times. That we have been verifying. For all times. And it's so basic and universal.
So, is it valid only to the planet Earth?
No, I told you last time also, Bhuvanani Vishwa. There are many such worlds. We are aware of only one. And we've been sending messages to space to get some response from other living beings. We don't know. So far, we have not got any response from them. But I've been trying to contact any other being other than on this globe. Yes, we are doing. But Vedas are very clear. There are many such worlds. Bhuvanani, that's in plural. Bhuvanani Vishwani. There are many such worlds, and the soul keeps traveling from one to another in this big journey. I got such things. You just take
is
it.
this the only superior race, or is there any chance of having more superior race with advanced Vedic knowledge?
That we can just guess. But the Vedas say that the human brain and the human structure is the best. Because it's got all such features which is required for finally the improvement and upliftment of the soul. That's the final thing. It's only an instrument. The best instrument that can be given for a soul for its progress is this human structure. Of course, in our cinemas and fictional shows, they say extraterrestrial person with 2 heads, this and that, so many things. Okay. But nothing is proved. It's just a fiction. Human structure is the best. But at the same time, I don't deny there is no other structure better than this. There could be. But unless we get proof, we put it as a question mark. With whatever data is available now, yes, human structure is the best for spiritual progress. That much I can say. So Vedas are very clear on this. There is no confusion. Think over. If you have got many more questions, you are welcome. And what best I know, I will share it with you. And I will give the authority of the Vedas for that. Just now as I was speaking about this vegetarian, non-vegetarian, I have given a lot of support for vegetarian, what is there in the Vedas. Veda should be our yardstick. Veda should be our guideline. Because it has all such qualities which you don't find in any other source of knowledge. Any other religion, any other philosophy, whatever you say, is the best than all those things. This is debatable. We can debate and finally conclude that Vedas are supreme.
So in a single nutshell, it is a complete scientific thing
Yes.
which has proof and which can
Yes.
be verified in all terms.
Yes. And it is omnipresent, that is, it's applicable to all people at all times. Any other religion or any other dharma, if you have to call it in that name, or any other opinion, they are all time bound. This is timeless. It's timeless. Whatever is enshrined in the Vedas, it applies to all people at all times. One basic reason is it doesn't have history. History is always time bound. You go to any other religion, maybe Quran or maybe Bible, whatever it is, or even those propounded by Buddha, Mahavir, Guru Nanak, whatever it is, they all have got history in it. A book of knowledge which has got history in it is bound by time. Whereas the Vedas do not have history in it. So there's a basic difference between them and this. Because it doesn't have any history in it, it's applicable always. It's not bound by time, it's beyond time, timeless. Don't believe that I have been telling again and again. Don't believe, verify if it is true. Say we have been saying these mantras in these Samskaaraas. Did you find anywhere it is bound by time and it varies from time to time? You can verify. It applies to all times. It applies to all people. It doesn't discriminate between people of one area and people of another area, one country and another country. No. It's applicable for all human beings. Whether they're practicing or not, whether they are aware of it or not, that's a different issue. But it applies to all human beings who want to follow it. Verifiable. Not to be believed in. But when you speak of these religions which are now today, existing in the world. Now they are not applicable to all. They themselves say only those who follow this, only those who believe this belong to our religion. Other people are our enemies, kill them. That's the attitude. But here not killing. Even a carnivorous, even a harmful animal, you love it and look it with a friendly view. That's what I told. Mitrasya chakshusha samiksham. Love every creature at any cost. Physically, you may be troubled. Physically, you may be disturbed. But your spiritual progress is unimaginable, invaluable. So the purpose of human life is progress of the spirit, progress of the soul. Spiritual progress is very important. That's the emphasis what is there in the Vedas. Physically, in the present world, you may achieve anything. But what is its end? You throw it and get out. You cannot carry even a speck of the dust on that. Right?
So, as Krishna is the highest Vedic scholar in his times, so how that killing wars and all that is justified with his knowledge?
This I have told many times earlier also. Maybe you came late. Ramayana, Mahabharata and all those things, they are not foolproof. It's always open for interpolations. So things are there. Even in Bharata, even in Ramayana, even in Bhagavad Gita, interpolations are there. Anyone who knows little Sanskrit can compose a shloka and put it in. It's not foolproof. Whereas in the Vedas, I have been telling Vedangas, Shiksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha, Kalpa. These 6 protective systems are there and it's impossible to interpolate in Vedas. Even if it's done immediately, it will be debugged. Debug, you know the term. Yeah. So embedded 6 debugging systems are there in Vedas. Embedded. So nobody can interpolate or nobody can add or delete anything from Vedas. But such a protective system is not there in other Sanskrit works. Maybe Ramayana, maybe Bharata, maybe Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who knows little Sanskrit can compose something and add it.
In terms of defending ourselves, let's say someone is attacking our country, our village or something like that. So we need to have one defensive system for that, right? In that point, there is a kind of violence.
6 defensive systems embedded. This we will know only when you study Vyakarana, Shiksha and other things in detail. We will realize that. So strong there. They're so strong. Nobody can interpret. Even a single letter, if they add extra, it will be found out then and there. It will cry, something is wrong here. Loudly. Such are the debugging and protective systems. Such a thing is not for Ramayana, Bharata or Bhagavad Gita. So anybody can add anything.
No, in general terms, let's say in this generation, let's say we are following completely Vedic system and someone else is coming for our property, destroying thing or looting from us. So how should we react to that kind of situations?
There are 2 ways. One, we also become physical. But that's not my purpose. But finally what I do, I will get my some property, I may get some wealth, I may get some land, other things. Finally what I'm going to do, throw it and get away. So those who follow Veda, they are very clear that they are doing it for their spiritual progress. That's very clear. So whatever is there, we basically lead a very simple life. Those people who follow Vedas, they lead a very simple life. So even
how come the meanings of Indra and Raja Kosha all comes into play?
That's okay. That is for social setup. For harmony in society, they do it. That's fine. I'm telling a person who follows Veda, he will lead a very simple life. Even a thief enters his house, he will get nothing to steal. So simple he will be. So who will come to harm that person? Nobody will come. Number one. Basic thing. Number 2, he is generous also. If somebody needs and wants something, he will give whatever he has, whatever that simple thing, whatever he has, he will share it with them. Sharing, caring, I have been emphasizing. So these 2 things are followed. Definitely, even a cruel person will live friendly with this person. So this you have to practice and show. If you got fear inside, we cannot do this. If you really follow the Vedas, we love every creature, we love every person, even though he's a criminal, even though he's a butcher, even though he is cruel. We love him, we love him. But this is not the way, Baba. This is not the way, brothers, to live. This is how you have to live as a human being. Come on, what's your problem? What's your problem? A fellow who follows Vedas, any person who is inhuman, he treats him as a patient. He is wrong in his thinking. He is mentally a psychic diseased person. So we treat him, we give him love. We ask him, what is your problem? Yes, you want to take away something from me? Okay, I will give you. Sit down. Why you want that? Why you want that? Say, I want to eat and live. Okay, come on, live with me. I will give you my food. I will share my food with you. That's all your problem? Okay, I want to enjoy sensually. Okay, that is fine. But what is enjoyment? What is sensual enjoyment? Let's try to understand. What you are telling, you are just anxious about it, but you are not able to enjoy. So, for example, I want to eat. So, lot of food items are, I am just a gulp it, one after another. Is it enjoyment? Definitely not. The definition of enjoyment is to eat slowly and concentrate on that and experience with your tongue. For that, you need a calm and peaceful mind. If you are anxious, you cannot enjoy it. Yes, you have filled your belly with lot of eatables. That's fine. I'm not objecting. But you are not enjoying it. So we have to define and tell them what is what. So practicing Vedic life is not just for ourselves. We have to spread the word also to others and to make them realize what is true, what is not true. Then the question what I have asked will not arise at all. Number one. Then secondly, okay, in the process of enlightening them, in the process of educating them, there is always a risk on our life. That I agree. So what has Veda said? Don't take that risk. Brahmacharis, Grihastha and Vanaprastha, don't take that risk. You do your best and keep quiet. I specially nominated sannyasis to do the job. Sannyasis have to educate those people even at the cost of their life. Because they are all in sannyasa. Sannyasa is total detachment. So one who is totally detached to this world, they never feel at all, they never worry at all to die also. Even at the cost of their life, even at the risk of their life, they have to educate them. Not you and me. Because you are in Brahmacharya, you are in Grihastha, you are in Vanaprastha. Up to a certain limit we do it, and for proceeding further, it has been assigned and the sannyasis have been nominated for that. So if a sannyasi does that job perfectly well, he will not have a disturbed society, he will have a calm society. And today we have got people who call themselves as sannyasis because the color of their dress is different. That's all. But they are not mentally and spiritually sannyasis. That's the problem.
So
This is duty of... yes, tell me.
So sannyasis, like they are kind of armed, like soldiers. Are they like kind of soldiers who protect us?
Yes, yes, yes. But not physically, but spiritually. Yes. They are, we can call them as suicide squads. Suicide squads who transform the cruel people. Suicide squad. They don't mind doing it all. They try to enlighten, they try to teach them, they try to educate them. And if they are so angry and they kill them, they say fine.
Yeah, but so somehow I'm not getting this because like someone else will come and completely loot us. Like let's say Britishers who like they have looted us for 100 years, 200 years.
I'll tell you one thing. Because we had some weaknesses, they could do it. Because our weakness, they loot us. If we are strong enough, nobody can loot us. Yes, that happened in the beginning, I tell you. When the Britishers invaded India, this all happened. Indians were strong in their spiritual field. So they could not raid upon us, they could not rule us. That is the basic problem. Then they started finding the weaknesses in us and the strengths in us. The weakness is same in all human beings. Jealousy, fear, avariciousness. That's what they call it as kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. This is our weakness. They found out this weakness in many of the rulers and they started exploiting and making two rulers of India, one against the other. They created enmity between them. That's from the weaker point of view. What was our strong point? The strong point of this Vedic culture in India was number one, agriculture. Number two, animal husbandry. Animal husbandry was very strong. Number three, education. These were our strong points. Agriculture, animal husbandry, that is the pashu, what I was speaking of. The cows, the goats, and the sheep, and other things. We used to live with them. We never used to eat them, but we used to live with them. And that was our wealth. Pashu Sampat. Pashu Sampat. Animal husbandry. And then the third one, education. Our education was perfect. So they found out these are our strengths. Then they attacked these three in a slow manner, and over a period, we fell a prey to them. How did they do? They replaced the education system with Macaulay system. The very intention of Macaulay introducing his own system in India was to kill the Indian system, the Vedic system. Macaulay spoiled it, not in one day, over decades. So our education system became weak. Today also it is weak and weaker. We have not been able to replace it with our original education system, even today, number one. Then animal husbandry, to spoil that, they encouraged meat eating. They said, eat the meat. So when we start eating meat, then all this animal wealth will go. And while eating meat also, they specially said, eat those who are studs, a male animal. The breed where that male animal was very strong, eat them first. Because the whole breed should get lost. This is what they said. Then they introduced the commercial aspect of it. Don't just rear cow, get more and more milk. For that you have to get artificial insemination and you have to get such animals which are artificially reared. So they made this whole dairy system as a big industry, a commerce. They spoiled the whole animal industry with meat eating and introducing commerce in that. Then agriculture, they spoiled it totally. There also they brought the commerce element, and ours was basically a multi-crop system. So they spoiled this multi-crop system and made monocrop system. So this monocrop system is very harmful in agriculture. Gone. Agriculture is gone, education is gone, animal wealth is gone. So I become weaker. And all this happened not in one day, over a period. And this, they did it with force, with violence. It's another thing. And they exploited all our weaknesses for that. We feel a prey. Even though it is not too late, they can bring back our old systems and overcome our weaknesses. So the overcoming the weaknesses and bringing back the systems back is needed, and it can be done only after a deep Vedic study. As we will be thinking only on the mundane level, only on the materialistic level. But Vedas, they emphasize on the spiritual progress. The very orientation is changed. So there are so many things to be done, so many things to be relooked, reviewed, and practiced afresh. We got definite reasons for that. One is our weakness, another one, they playing on our strengths and spoiling it gradually. Not only in India, you take any invasion in any part of the world, it has all happened only on these two counts. Either the people there were weak, they exploited their weakness, and they were strong, and they gradually dilapidated them, they made them weak. Attacked their strong points. That's the basic thing of any invasion. Maybe by Alexander, maybe by Napoleon, maybe by British, anybody. Iraq, Iran, anyone you take it. You have to understand the basic weaknesses and spoil the strengths. That's what exactly Vedas say. So don't be weak, be strong. So the strength is not physical, the strength is spiritual. Become strong and develop it, maintain it. And don't fall a prey to your sensual things. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moda, Mahamasa, don't fall a prey to it. Because it's all temporary, it's all temporal. Whatever you achieve with these things will not come with you. The spiritual progress alone will come with you. Makes you stronger. So clear distinction is there only in the Vedas. If you understand it, yes, we can lead a better life, we can have a better social life, we can have a peaceful world. That's what exactly I'm trying to say. And the thoughts what are there in the Vedas, it's universal and is for all time. Verifiable, verifiable. Think over the two questions I've raised. That is, a human being is a mixed food eater. He eats vegetable, he eats non-veg. Why not it be so? Number one. Plants also have got life. Plants do have life. So how do you manage it? And of course, the third question, whatever, vitamins and proteins and whatever is required for a human existence, all of that you will not have in vegetation. So you may have to eat some other seafood or some other animal also for providing this vitamin and other things. Let us try to tackle these questions in the Vedic lines, the next class. Then we will be completing one part of it. Dvipade, Chatushpade, then we will go to other parts of the mantra. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your interaction. I'm glad. Any number of interactions you can have, any number of questions you can ask. Of course, subject to my limitation, I'll give the answer for it. Subject to my limitation. It's not that I'm an omniscient and I'll explain answer all your questions. No, it's not that. I got my own limit. Within that, I'll tell you. Of course, I'll take the support of Vedas, which will give you final answers. Final answers you will have from that. Okay, thank you.